If you've heard of a Mars-bound Starship, NASA astronauts using a Dragon spacecraft, or the Starlink broadband service, then you're about to uncover the essential details. Elon Musk's SpaceX has set its sights on constructing a city on Mars, making space exploration more accessible, and creating a satellite network for global broadband coverage. Join us today for a concise overview of SpaceX's endeavors and the remarkable journey that brought us here. What is SpaceX? Elon Musk has long envisioned Mars as a potential new home for humans due to its similarities to Earth. He began with a project called Mars Oasis, which was about sending a greenhouse to Mars. The three core ideas behind it was the crucial aspect greenhouses provide. Firstly, they would allow growing food locally, saving the high cost of transporting it from Earth. Secondly, it would help reduce mission expenses and ensure astronauts have fresh, healthy food. Lastly, on Mars, the thin atmosphere makes it challenging to grow plants outside, so greenhouses provide a controlled environment with the right air pressure for plants to thrive. Musk believed that these greenhouses would support future Mars colonies and benefit astronauts on deep space missions.
Launch this mission to Mars, just a little greenhouse basically.
However, the project's cost was too high, which led him to start SpaceX, officially called Space Exploration Technologies Corp., based in Hawthorne, California. He founded the company on March 14, 2002, with a clear mission: to make space travel cheaper and to eventually create a home for people on Mars. Musk was aware that he was venturing into a challenging and risky industry. At first, he was hesitant when it came to investment, as he had initially believed that everyone would lose their money. The problem was straightforward. Musk had put about $100 million of his own money into starting SpaceX, but that amount only covered the cost of 3 rocket launch attempts into orbit. Failing these attempts would have spelled bankruptcy.
He almost went broke. He had 3 failures.
A prediction echoed by most experts at the time. In 2006, after 18 months of private development, SpaceX unveiled its first spacecraft, Dragon. The name was an ode to the 1960s song Puff the Magic Dragon by the folk group Peter, Paul, and Mary. This choice faced harsh criticism, as many experts doubted SpaceX's goals were achievable. Walk through SpaceX's journey. First decade. From around 2002 to 2005, SpaceX aimed to make space travel more affordable. Their goal was to lower the financial barriers. They had hoped that this would influence more companies to contribute to the technology development needed for Mars colonization. Musk's obsession with colonizing Mars is based on some very interesting facts. First, it would allow us to do more comprehensive research on the red planet rather than relying solely on robotic missions. Also, establishing a presence on Mars serves as an important safeguard, reducing the risk of humanity's extinction by ensuring our existence on more than one planet in case of catastrophic events on Earth. However, the SpaceX project faced constant financial uncertainty as the first 3 launch attempts failed, with the third one almost bankrupting Elon Musk. Despite partnering with NASA, some American astronauts, including legends like Neil Armstrong and Eugene Cernan, expressed concerns about the project, fearing it could compromise safety, and labeled it as a pledge to mediocrity, which deeply saddened Musk as they were his heroes.
I split the money between the two. Fortunately, thank goodness, they both came through.
Emergence of Falcon 9. Despite the 3 failures, SpaceX continued developing the Falcon 9 rocket. This rocket played a pivotal role in their pursuit of affordable reflight. It became the focal point of their active reusability program, which aimed to recover and reuse rocket components. The program achieved a significant milestone with the successful landing of a Falcon 9 first stage. Falcon 9, since its launch, has outshined traditional rockets in cost-effectiveness due to its reusability trait. Unlike regular rockets, which are discarded after a single use, SpaceX's Falcons can be refurbished and launched multiple times, resulting in significant cost savings. For instance, a recent Falcon 9 mission, flown for the 4th time, cost just $50 million, a fraction of the expense required for a new rocket. Back in 2017, SpaceX made history for the first time when they reused the same Falcon 9 first stage. This groundbreaking achievement marked a major step forward in reducing the cost of rocket launches and set a new standard for the industry. Building on its success in reusing rocket components, SpaceX remained committed to its ultimate goal of sending humans to Mars, but it still had quite a lot of work to do.
But because you can reuse the aircraft tens of thousands of times, the air travel becomes much more affordable.
Falcon Heavy's debut. To achieve this, SpaceX introduced the Falcon Heavy, a super heavy rocket based on the Falcon 9's technology, in 2018. The Falcon Heavy was made to showcase its ability to recover not only the primary first stage, but also the side boosters. Rockets rely on boosters to provide extra power and carry heavier payloads during the initial part of their journey, or when placing objects into specific orbits or paths in space. Typically, the first stage or side booster detaches from the rocket after it has used up its fuel and then returns to Earth. The recovery of these side boosters marked a significant step toward their Mars mission, but the road ahead still had some setbacks.
Falcon Heavy is the first time that there's something that's arguably even in the super heavy class.
Dreaming bigger with Starship. However, SpaceX soon realized that they needed to think bigger. The maiden flight of the Falcon Heavy drew substantial attention and investment. SpaceX's Falcon Heavy test flight was highly anticipated, drawing an estimated 100,000 spectators to Florida's Space Coast. Even legendary astronaut Buzz Aldrin, known for his Apollo 11 mission to the moon in 1969, was there to watch the launch. What made it extra special was that it took off from the same launch pad he used for his historic lunar journey. This success encouraged SpaceX to unveil their most ambitious project in 2019, the Starship. Starship was designed to surpass the legendary Saturn V in size and capabilities. It boasted cutting-edge rocket engines and a fully reusable design, promising to revolutionize the space industry. SpaceX stated that Starship is intended to carry satellites to greater distances and with lower launch costs compared to their current Falcon rockets. Starship's payload capacity is larger than any existing or planet-faring, opening up opportunities for new missions, such as building telescopes even bigger than the James Webb Telescope. Starship launch failure and environmental concerns. On April 20, 2023, SpaceX conducted its Starship rocket's first integrated flight test. Unfortunately, the prototype vehicle was destroyed within 4 minutes after taking off from the SpaceX Starbase in Boca Chica, Texas. Even though the prototype didn't make it, SpaceX received praise from government officials and other groups for successfully launching Starship.
For a first test launch of a completely new, revolutionary design like this, I'm very happy with it.
NASA Administrator Bill Nelson tweeted, "Congrats to SpaceX on Starship's first integrated flight test. Every great achievement throughout history has demanded some level of calculated risk, because with great risk comes great reward." Elon Musk also praised his team by tweeting, "Congrats SpaceX team on an exciting test launch of Starship. Learned a lot for next test launch in a few months." Before SpaceX's inaugural launch of the Starship spacecraft on the massive Super Heavy rocket, environmental expert Eric Roche voiced concerns about potential environmental damage. The launch generated massive dust clouds and damaged the launch pad, scattering chunks of concrete into nearby marine and coastal protected areas. SpaceX CEO Elon Musk referred to it as a human-made sandstorm and acknowledged the need for an improved flame deflection system for future launches. Roche blamed both SpaceX and the regulatory body, the Federal Aviation Administration (FAA), for skirting environmental regulations and failing to mitigate the impact on the surrounding wilderness. In response, a consortium of environmental groups sued the FAA to prevent further Starship launches.
This is a test program. We expect it to explode. It's weird if it doesn't explode, frankly.
Emergence of Starlink and its potential. SpaceX started launching satellites called Starlink into space in 2019. By 2022, the network had grown to 3,000 small satellites. These satellites link up with specialized ground stations to provide internet access. Since its launch, Starlink has been changing the game for internet access in rural and underserved places. It offers speeds up to 100 Mbps, meaning people can work from afar, have video meetings, stream content, and use many online services in places they had never thought of. But that's not all. The best part is that Starlink can give internet anywhere on Earth, even in areas without the usual internet infrastructure. By June 2022, Starlink had already connected over 500,000 users to the internet, especially in remote areas worldwide. Now, SpaceX plans to have about 12,000 satellites, and they're considering increasing that number to 42,000 later. In the US, you can get Starlink for about $110 monthly, plus a one-time cost of $599 for the equipment. But prices can differ widely based on where you are. What's the pricing like for Starlink in your area, and are you experiencing the speeds they claim to provide? We'd love to hear about your personal experiences with Starlink's service and how it compares to other internet options you've used.
We'll soon have about 4,000 satellites, so we'll have more satellites in operation than the rest of Earth combined.
The road to success, SpaceX's milestones. Since its inception with around 30 employees, SpaceX has enjoyed more successes than failures in its mission to transform space travel through reusable rockets. It has accomplished several remarkable milestones in space exploration, including being the first private company to successfully launch, orbit, and recover a spacecraft, pioneering the private sector's mission to send a spacecraft to the International Space Station, ISS, achieving the historic feat of the first vertical takeoff and vertical propulsive landing for an orbital rocket booster, being the first to reuse such a booster, and significantly reducing the cost of space travel, making history as the first private company to send astronauts into orbit and to the ISS. However, these achievements have been accompanied by numerous setbacks and failures that have given rise to controversies. Starlink satellite controversy. Starlink, designed to provide low-latency broadband internet, especially in remote areas, has also triggered conflicts. People have observed long strings of illuminated Starlink satellites moving across the night sky as they are launched in groups. Astronomers have expressed concern that these satellites interfere with their observations. Dish TV, planning to launch its 5G internet service using the 12 GHz wavelength, which Starlink also relies on, has also led to a conflict. When you think of Dish, you likely think of TV, not the internet. That's because, until June 2022, Dish TV mainly worked with other internet providers. But then, the company began shaking things up with a project called Dish Genesis. However, due to this conflict, SpaceX and Dish both appealed to the Federal Communications Commission, FCC, to prevent the other from using this wavelength. Both of them feared disruptions to their respective services. However, SpaceX emerged victorious in this case. Challenges in company culture. SpaceX is also accused of having a predominantly male workforce, which has led to situations involving discrimination and harassment claims. In 2022, a flight attendant filed a lawsuit against SpaceX CEO Elon Musk, alleging inappropriate behavior and offers. Following a series of controversial comments on Twitter, a group of workers criticized these remarks as not aligning with SpaceX's image. These employees penned an open letter urging the company's leadership to distance themselves from Musk's statements. In response, they were terminated by SpaceX President Gwynne Shotwell, who considered the letter a distraction from the company's primary mission. Elon Musk's battle with unrelenting stress. All these allegations, controversies, and occasional failures in Elon Musk's career have taken an emotional toll on him, as he revealed in various interviews. Recently, Musk opened up about the challenges he faces despite his remarkable success as a self-made billionaire and the CEO of Tesla and SpaceX. He candidly discussed the highs and lows and the unrelenting stress that comes with his entrepreneurial journey and tweeted, "The reality is great highs, terrible lows, and unrelenting stress. Don't think people want to hear about the last two." Musk highlighted the importance of genuine passion for his work as a coping mechanism, but acknowledged the difficulty in managing constant stress. He has handled SpaceX's failures with a practical approach, recognizing that setbacks are part of the progress. He pointed out that even established space agencies like NASA have had their share of mishaps, such as mixing up measurements and losing spacecraft. Russia's space agency has also faced issues like losing control of cargo ships and engine failures. Despite challenges, Musk remains ambitious and certain that he will eventually succeed in his pursuit of making space travel affordable and setting up a human colony on Mars.
Third failure in a row. Did you think I need to pack this in.
Never. I don't ever give up.
The future. SpaceX has always had its sights set on Mars, but it's not just about space exploration. The company is currently involved in non-space projects here on Earth, such as the high-speed Hyperloop concept. Hyperloop is an ambitious transportation system concept designed for high-speed travel. Musk and the engineers at SpaceX have taken a keen interest in this idea, and if successfully developed, Hyperloop could significantly reduce travel time in the future.
The most important thing that needs to happen is the transition of transportation to electric.
Additionally, initiatives like Elon Musk's Boring Company, focused on tunnel excavation and traffic solutions, are also in full flow.
We're going to dig a tunnel, and maybe that tunnel will be successful, and maybe it won't.
Nevertheless, every achievement SpaceX unlocks brings humanity closer to the dream of establishing colonies in space. Although this goal still remains a distant one, the first human settlement beyond Earth is likely to be on Mars. In a sense, SpaceX's objectives revolve around making humans a multiplanetary species, offering private space services accessible to all, independently of any government.